mother-tested routine. When you've got 2 children, it can be difficult, I think, juggling, you know, getting them to bed. I certainly find it difficult, and actually I hate it. So the way that I tend to do it is to give them their bath fairly early on in the afternoon, so that that's out of the way. So I'm usually bathing them around 4:45, 5, and then it's down for their dinner, which means that by the time they've finished eating, if they've taken a long time and there's been, you know, faffing around the table and messing around, they don't then have to go and have a bath and extend it even longer. So then after the eating, it's up the stairs. And what do you do when there's both of them and you have to put them to bed?
Well,
you have
clearly
both sleeping in the same room.
Yeah, they're in the same room.
I have 2 in separate rooms.
So we read them a story. We try and get away with only 2 books per child, but depending on how awake they are or how good they've been, you know, that can vary from 2 per child up to like 6 per child. And so they both kind of lay in their beds, and we read to them. And they, even though their heads aren't near each other in the beds, they flip around to listen to the story together and look at the pages. And then usually halfway through, either Felix falls asleep first or Jasper falls. One of them will fall asleep first, and then the other usually demands songs. So then it's singing. My husband, and then if they're still awake at that point, they ask you to stay with them, and my husband does, and I don't. I tell them I have to go clean the kitchen. I'll come back and check on them in a few minutes, and usually if I do come back in a few minutes, they're sound asleep. So that seems to work for us.
My remedy for that, when my older son used to do that, when he used to want me to sit with him, was to say that I would leave him, but I would leave the door open. And if he then started calling and shouting for me to come up, then I would close the door. So he had the choice of whether or not he had his door open or closed, and only he could kind of control that. So if he stayed silent, then he could have the door open, listen to me down the stairs, tidying up and you know, putting things away. Otherwise, if there was shouting and calling, then the door was shut, which he hates. So it seemed to work.
I don't know if there's any kid who likes having their door shut. No. In fact, they want all doors in the house to be open. Especially yours. Bathroom doors, any door, they must be open at all times. So yeah, I mean, but bedtime varies. I mean, you get your kids to bed a lot earlier than mine, and I'm very jealous of the time at which she gets her kids to bed, but I usually don't get home until after 7, so it makes it quite difficult to get them in bed at the same time that yours are in bed.
But conversely, mine are up very early in the morning, and they don't stay in their beds during the night. There's a lot of, you know, shuttling between rooms. So.
But that's the same with ours. I mean, you usually hear the dunk, 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 dunk of someone running across the floor and hopping into our bed. But lately, so it used to be they would climb in between my husband and I, and then we would, you know, drag the child back, you know, sleepily to their bed, or just sometimes give up and let them sleep there, which made for uncomfortable sleeping for us. But now, lately, they feel they don't have enough room, the poor boys, in our bed, so they've been laying down near the feet of our bed. So at least there's a little more room for us now. But it does make it harder to take them back to their bed. So I don't know. Soon we will have this all worked out. I mean,
I hope so. Because I just
can't
take them. Anyone got any mother-tested tips for us?
Yeah, mother-tested bedtime tips. Clearly, we could use some more insights here.